Hello everybody, welcome back to the Volvo, welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great New Year, a great Christmas, all that sort of good stuff. Yeah, we're back in the Volvo today. The hesitation problem that I thought was the gearbox in one of the previous videos, it wasn't the gearbox. So just in case, I did a quick flush of the fluid in the gearbox anyway. I will put the video in here.
Chopper ball underway, nice drive out.
Oh, fully for up.
Sort of, there's a few little like, nice lanes out, like, well, I say a few, there's one, and it's dead short.
Okay, so it wasn't the gearbox, but as you can see, it needed doing because that fluid was black. So, we've done a little bit of research, and I think it's going to be fuel related. Given the symptoms of it, you know, it's very hesitant to start in the morning. It does get progressively worse. Sometimes it's a bit of a pain getting first and reverse gears even. I'm thinking it's fuel. So I'm going to have a quick look at the injectors. Apparently injectors on these are a popular thing to go wrong. So I'm going to do a bit of an old school trick with my friend Kane, because he's done it before, I've not. So every day's a learning day. And we're going to test the injectors for it. So let's pop the bonnet. I'm going to start the car. Now please don't hang me in the comments for this, because it is going to be a cold start and I am going to rev it. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because I just want to demonstrate to you the problems that I'm experiencing in the car. So I'm going to cold rev it, and it's going to break my soul to do it, but there we go. Just to demonstrate to you exactly what's going on. Right, so Kane's come around with his OBD reader, and we're going to see if it's going to pick up any codes. If anyone wants to know, there's the port. It's just by the driver's right knee. I'm just going to have a quick look, see now, see what codes it throws up, if any, and see what we got.
There's an old school way of checking injectors to see if they're all ticking properly. It's using a long screwdriver and your ear, and you can actually hear the injector clicking as it fires. So by the sound of things, this injector here and this injector here are a lot quieter than the other three, which could point to the fact that the solenoid on the injector is starting to wear out. So, price up some injectors.
So that's what I mean by it sounds a bit fuelish. As you can see there, I started the car and immediately put my foot flat down on the accelerator. Not as far as to push the kick down button, but all the way to the kick down button. And you can see it took about 10 seconds to start revving there. So it feels to me a bit like fuel starvation. Now, I will be doing the obvious stuff like fuel filter, because you know, I'm going to do a service on this car as well while I'm off work. And yeah, it definitely sounds like fuel starvation. So what we're going to do is we're going to whip all the electrical connectors off the injectors, and we're going to test the coils. And we're looking for a resistance value of around 190 to 220 kiloohms. So my suspect, after doing a little bit of test, which I'll show in a second, is cylinders 2 and 3, which is, well, they might not actually be cylinders 2 and 3. It's just second and third from the left as you look at the engine from the front of the car. the solenoids aren't clicking as loud as the other three. So I'm thinking a new set of injectors might be on order. So let's unplug them and we'll test the resistance and we'll have a look at the values.
The next day.
Right, so the next step is we're going to test the actual injectors that are in the car themselves. We're going to use this again, like we did the other day, just to listen, just to see if we can feel the return spring. It's probably getting a bit weak, so it's overfueling, so probably starting to go a bit knackered, really. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this end, touch on the actual spring itself, listen to it, feel it, and we're also going to take the plugs off the back of the injectors and measure the ohms drop across the actual coil itself. Okay, so we have some new injectors. I said new, they come off a car that was working from a breaker. We're going to demonstrate what a good reading is on this one. So it's about 0.4, 0.5 ohms. So if we take the clips off the back of the old injectors that are actually still in the car, we'll do a resistance check on the injectors and see what they're giving us.
So these are Bosch clip, which means that you have to push them in a little bit in order to release the pressure, and then they just pop off. They're a pain. Don't pull them and don't try and force them, because you will snap them, and then you've got to replace either the connector or the injector harness, and nobody wants to do that. And that is 0.3 when we finally got there.
Right, so we've had a quick look around here then. As you saw, we've had a look at these two injectors in particular. Had a look at the resistance on those, and they're getting to the 0.3 ohms range. That's not looking good, to be honest. I mean, the minimum that we're looking for is sort of 0.4, 0.5, so that's given a bit of a red flag at first. Then we start the car up, and we had a feel and a listen, as you just saw, of all the injectors there. This one is the strongest. This one I'm quite happy with, followed by this one, followed by this one, and then these two are sort of equally as bad, really. So what I'm thinking of doing then is, once the washers arrive, you know, the ones that seal the tip to the engine block, we'll get those two injectors changed out and we'll fire it up again and see what happens. Okay, so you've seen those values. It's looking like it's probably going to be a new set of injectors that's the problem. Just out of my own curiosity though, I am going to do a leak pass test. There are various videos on YouTube about how to make a leak pass thing, so I'm just going to get on with it and do it. I will put a link in the description down below, just to a video that I found helpful. So I'm going to do a leak pass test, and we'll have a look, see what the results are of those particular injectors.
The next day.
Right, so it's time to start the leak off injector test now. What we want to do is these metal clips here on the top of the injector, those ones, they want taken off, then the return line will pop straight off. We'll do that on all 5 cylinders, and then what we're going to do is use this little contraption that I've knocked up here and put one of the pipes into one of the cylinders and run the engine for 1 minute. I do believe that the limit for a good injector is 40 millilitres of leak off, so I'll set the camera up somewhere else just so we can have a good look at it, and we'll run the engine, see what happens.
Much later.
Well, as you just seen me do that leak off test there, injectors 2 and 3 do appear to be knackered. Apologies for not being able to show you the actual leak off results. For some reason that didn't record, or the file went corrupt or something like that, but take it from me, there was nearly 90 millilitres of leak off from injectors 2 and 3, and there was about 10, maybe 15 millilitres from 1, 4 and 5. That's the max value, by the way. Injector 5 leaked off practically nothing, to be honest. It was burning quite cleanly. But 2 and 3, those results tell me that 2 and 3 are knackered. So let's get the injector seals out. We'll pick the best 2 injectors out of the new 5 that I've got, and then we'll get those fitted, see if that resolves the problem.
Several days later.
Right, so it's a few days later. A little bit longer than I thought, but look what's arrived. We've got the washers. So we've got the car all opened up and all that sort of good stuff. Engine covers off. I'm up at Kane's because he's got the torque wrench. I need a torque wrench for this. And yeah, let's get these injectors out and change them. Right, so we've got one injector out. Let's have a quick look down there. Okay, so if we have a quick look all the way down there, you can see if and when it focuses. Let's try that. Anyway, terrible focus, but you can see that the washer's still down there. So we're going to try and get that out. You can also see a lot of muck and all that sort of good stuff in the actual cylinder itself where the injector sits. So we'll get that washer out, we'll clean that up, clean the surface up as well, and we'll make a start on getting that injector back in. Okay, so what we're doing now is we've got some tissue round a screwdriver, put it, coated it with
aircraft wipes, Dave.
Is it aircraft wipes?
Oh, yeah, aircraft
I stand
wipes.
corrected.
We're not using tissue in an engine.
I guess it's kind of the same stuff though. Anyway, it's impregnated with brake and clutch cleaner. It's going up and down in the bore so we can clean out what's in it. Now that's the second go around and that's still pretty damn nasty. That's the first. So, is it any wonder these injectors failed? I don't know, you tell me. Right, so same again, that's injector number 3 out. That took some fighting, that one. If we have a look all the way down there, that's thoroughly unpleasant in there. So we'll do the same thing. We'll clean out that bore and then we'll put the new injector in. Right, so that's the injectors changed. Everything's plumbed up. That last clip took a little bit of fighting to get back on, but all the injectors are changed, all the bores are cleaned, all that sort of good stuff. Everything should be good to go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start it up. We're going to see if it revs first and foremost, because that was one of the symptoms. See if that's gone, and we're going to check for any leaks. So let's get that done.
Give it a
So as you can hear then, there is like a sound coming from that injector. So we're going to take that off, we're going to make sure the orientation of the clip's correct, a couple of the quick checks, and then we'll start it again.
Okay, so on this injector there was a little bit of exhaust gases coming through here, so this needs torquing down a little bit further, and we'll do the same with this one just to double check it. So if you have a look at the end of the injector there, you can see like a slight soot mark. This is where the injector's passing, the injector seal's passing. So what we're going to do is we're going to change out this copper washer for a new one, and we're also going to change a clip for one of the clips that we've supplied with the injector. And what we might try and do is try and reverse the clip around so it clips the opposite to the others to try and clamp a little bit more pressure onto the injector.
So here's the two injectors that we took out. This one was injector number 2, and this one was injector number 3. If we look at number 2, as you can see there, it's fairly well coked up. It's black. There's a lot of soot on that. The actual body of it is okay, you know, a little bit of surface corrosion, no big deal. But I think the problem was in here. I think it's either the solenoid or the spring itself that has gone knackered on these. Same story with number 3. It's still got the copper washer on it. I just didn't bother taking it off because these are ready for the bin, really. The surface corrosion on here though is a little bit worse, so yeah, probably best that they go now, really. But I think the problem was, again, same in here. It's the spring and the solenoid that's gone knackered. So we've got new injectors in it now. So yeah, let's take it for a drive, see what happens. Okay, so we've changed it. We're revving a little bit. So it seems a little bit more responsive. Kane's just deleting any codes that may have appeared while we've been messing about with it. But yeah, we're going to take it for a test drive in a moment and see what happens. So that's the two injectors changed then. A relatively simple procedure. The majority of the work that we did was actually diagnosing faulty injectors in the first place. But it's done now. I have just off camera done a quick leak off test, and they're leaking a maximum of 20 mil each, which is about half of the maximum allowance. So I'm happy that the injectors are running fine now, so that's fine. The car is running good enough for me to use daily now. It is still hesitating a little bit, but I think that might be a different issue. I think that might be a dirty EGR valve or something like that. So we'll do a clean video or maybe a delete or something like that at some point in the future. If you do want to wait for that video, or you know the drill, ring the bell, make sure you subscribe and you get notified when that video drops. I'll leave my Instagram down here somewhere. You can follow me on Instagram for sneak peeks that you find. And if you like that, I will see you in the next one.